Good morning. It's day 95, July 23rd. And it's about 7:30, kind of drizzly, still cloudy out. A lot of rain over the last 24 hours, so everything's wet. It's probably just like 60 degrees. Crazy weather. 35-degree difference from just a few days ago, a couple days ago. And I don't think it's really supposed to get out of the 60s today. Chance of more rain, not a lot. Like I said, everything's gonna be slippery and wet. I think this morning, a couple miles easy to start here, then some pretty intense rocky sections, something called the knife edge, which is gonna be difficult, I think, being wet. Have to take that slow and easy. And I think that's the general theme for the whole day, actually. But the plan is to go 18 miles through the town of Palmerton. Then on the north side of Palmerton, there's sort of the infamous Superfund climb, which is a Superfund site that's basically a bare mountain of rocks. That's a big climb that I think is mostly hand over hand, where you can't even really use your poles. But if it starts raining again this afternoon, I don't want to do that in the rain, so that may wait till tomorrow. But if it doesn't, I'll go up over that and end up doing like 18 miles today, which would be good. So I think we'll just sort of see what the day and the weather brings me. Just on this easy part here to start, but you kind of get a sense for how wet everything is from the rain. It's nice to start on an easy section here, though, for a couple miles. And nice new shoes. Won't stay looking that way for long, but nice new tread on the bottom of them, which should help with the wet rocks today. Power line view. The weather stayed exactly like this for the rest of the day. I wouldn't complain. Not raining, overcast, kind of cool. Minus everything being wet, it's actually perfect hiking weather. I think it's supposed to get rocky from here for the next 3 miles or so. We'll see. So here we go with the rocks. It's going to be like this for a while. And as I said before, they're all wet, so I'm going to put the camera away and pick my way through here. Nice little view and an excuse to take a break from this. Oops, looks like I'm going that way. I'm assuming this is the start of the knife edge. And I was checking last night. I don't know if anyone's watched all of my videos from the beginning, but near the beginning in North Carolina, there was a guy from England, Christian, and I can't think of his last name, but he was an ultra, I don't know if you call it ultra marathoner or ultra trail runner, and he was going to attempt to break the fastest known time for through hiking the Appalachian Trail, which is something like 41 days and some hours. And he was starting July 1st, and I was thinking about it yesterday and thinking, you know, he had to average like 50 miles a day, And starting July 1st, he should have been right in my vicinity. And when I looked it up, I think it was yesterday, he was like 30 miles behind me. So unless he passed me after I got off trail yesterday or earlier this morning, he may pass me today, starting July 1st, and I was way back mid-April, I guess. And I was thinking about it, especially be curious to see how he does with all these rocks and wet rocks, and if he just goes through it quickly like a mountain goat, because it's certainly taken me a long time, and I'm being extra cautious, I guess. But it'll be interesting. He's what? This is his day 23, and this is my day 95. So I think he might pass me for the second time today. I think you can find his information. I think if you put into Google Christian Ultra, you can follow his attempt at breaking the fastest known time for through hiking the Appalachian Trail. All right, knife edge, let's go. Just continuing over the knife edge, but a nice view here. Came from back that way. And you can just see some guy just cruising through here like it's nothing. Passed me by. I guess with age comes more caution. Still on the knife edge, but this is a view the other way, on the other side of the knife edge. Slow going. At least the rocks, when you get out of the trees, are a little bit drier. And way down there you can see a blaze. I'm going down there. Came down there. Not ashamed to say, sort of did the reverse crab butt slide a couple of times. I think that's what I'll call it, the reverse crab butt slide technique. And headed down that way, but it's not as steep, but wetter. Kind of fun, but it doesn't last too long. So hopefully I'm through the worst of it. But I should put the camera away before I push my luck too much. I'll say this, it may be pretty rocky and the rocks may be pretty intense and wet, but at least there's some really nice views along the way. There we go. It feels like it's getting a little bit lighter out too. This is just a very, very short side trail to Bake Oven Knob, which you might want to call Graffiti Knob, because you don't see much of this actually on the trail. But here, the trail up from the parking lot, which is probably about 3/4 of a mile, and then up here, just tons of graffiti, which is a shame, but like I said, you don't see much of it on the trail, which is nice. Wow. Guessing this is a very popular spot. Not so much on a rainy Tuesday. Coming down the north side a bake oven knob, and I've discovered there's something worse than wet rocks, and that's wet moss-covered rocks, which is what these are. Even the power line cuts have gotten into the rock game here. Power line came from, you can see the blazes there, and it's all rocks to the other side. But at least these rocks are dry. This is interesting. So according to my Gut Hook app, I just crossed over Interstate 476 and certainly haven't seen any interstate. I can sort of hear it. So I'm guessing 476 goes through a tunnel right under me, like way under me, because it's not that close and it's not like I'm on an overpass or something. It must go through a tunnel like 500 feet underneath me, because I crossed over it and it's certainly not close. So somewhere under me, there's cars going through a tunnel on Interstate 476. Closing in on, I think, a couple miles from Palmerton. This is Lehigh Gap and the Lehigh River, you can just see there. And I believe, I know it is the super fun climb, but I think it's called Blue Mountain. And Palmerton, I believe, is sort of back up that way to the west. But in the early 1900s, reading the trail notes, there were zinc factories here, which polluted the surroundings really badly, which is why there is no foliage on Blue Mountain, and it's considered a Superfund site, and the EPA has been trying to revegetate it and sort of bring back the environment around here, especially on that mountain, for the last 3 decades, with not a ton of success looking at it. But everything around here is super polluted apparently. But Lehigh Gap, the Lehigh River, and Blue Mountain and the super fun climb right there. That's my next obstacle, that pile of rocks. You hear the road behind me, still in Lehigh Gap, but you can see there's a lot going on. It's 15 miles back to 309 where I started this morning. Remedial and restoration activities in progress, integrated pest management in progress. If you're interested, you could pause and read everything going on here, or they're trying to do anyway. So essentially it says the trail stays open. This is the Lehigh River. Apparently they do some rafting here, though. After all the talk about all the pollution from the zinc mines or zinc processing, I'm not sure I'd want to fall overboard or go rafting or go swimming or do anything in the river. Heading up there. Famous last words, but it doesn't look too bad. There you can see where I came across the bridge, and just by that house over there is where I came down off of that mountain over there. So I climbed up to here. It's basically been pathed to here, but I think, if I remember correctly, from here on out it becomes sort of a rock scramble. I'm going to have to put my poles away here shortly. There you can see the guy up ahead of me. I know it's hard to get perspective on the video, but headed up there. You can see the blaze. Great view down the valley though. All right, onward. I'm glad it's a cool day, I know that. It's a view the other way down towards, I guess that's Palmerton right there. This is very intense. Far and away the most sort of technical thing that I've done so far on the trail. I'm doing it with a day pack, which I'm thankful. Because it would be very intense with a full pack. Well, I'm topping out on Blue Mountain, or the Superfund Mountain as I call it. That was without a doubt very different and the most difficult thing I've had to do so far. It certainly was not something you use poles for. And it's all exposed and probably an hour of hand over hand. I guess if you're into rock climbing, it'd probably be considered kindergarten stuff, but for someone like me who's never really done anything like that before, it seemed pretty intense. Fun at the same time. I'm sure glad it was kind of a cloudy, cool day, because I couldn't imagine if it was raining and the rocks were wet, or if it was 90 or 95 degrees and the sun was out. You just would have baked. Because, like I said, it was about an hour of sort of straight up, hand over hand. And like I said, fun at the same time though, and I think it'll serve me well up ahead, because just like anything you do for the first time that's difficult and you manage to survive it, gives you confidence for next time. Now I think I've got a couple miles of easy trail and then maybe a couple miles of rocks to finish the day, but the hard part's behind me. There's a good view. I don't know, that must be, I don't think that's Palmerton down there, but still up on the ridge that I guess comes down or leads off from the Superfund Mountain, Blue Mountain. And I certainly have no idea what zinc mining looked like 100 years ago. I'm guessing that's what all this is, zinc mining processing. And the mountain's back over there that I came up and over. And I've just been walking along this ridge like this. But